All right, let's talk a little about farming agriculture. Today's date is 7th February 25. Let's dwell a little bit on, let me confirm my mic a bit. Okay, let's throw a little light on agriculture. Agriculture as our ancestral heritage means of survival. Don't worry, I will say it again. Agriculture as our ancient survival means of existence. Over the years, our forefathers were using agriculture to survive. The reason why we are existing now was because our grandparents, our forebears, were farmers. They were not Facebook users, they were not TikTokers, they were not bankers, they were not graduates, they were not, all what they knew was farming and trading. So now, when I was in one of my videos, I was explaining culture, and agriculture is one section of our culture, and it's a very powerful section because it has to do with our survival. The reason why Nigerians, this video is strictly for Nigerians, it's not for Americans or anybody in America. If you notice, one of the reasons why most 99% of our youth in Nigeria are crying of hunger, they're not crying of lack of money. They're crying of hunger because they have lost their survival instinct of farming. They're crying because they have lost their survival instinct of farming. Follow me, just follow me a little bit, just follow me small. I know, but just follow me small. A young boy will leave the village and travel all the way to the city. Mind you, in the village, he has where he's coming from, he has his own community. Every Nigerian has where they are coming from. Every Nigerian has a community. Every Nigerian. Nobody fell down from the sky. Everybody has where they are coming from. You have a community, you have a village. But you choose to abandon your village with all the lands that your village people have for you, and you travel all the way to the city. Okay, fine and good. You travel to the city. Why are you in the city? You want to work. You're looking for a white collar job to do. You're looking for a tush job to do so that you'll be rich. You are basically chasing money. It's okay, no problem. So now you are in the city 5 years, 10 years. Please, I don't want anybody to feel attacked. I'm just speaking the truth. I told you I will do the thinking for you. You're not doing the thinking, so don't worry. Don't stress yourself. I'll do the thinking for you. I got you covered. So now you are in the city. Follow me. For 5-10 years, you are struggling in the city. There is no food. You don't even have 1 naira. You are even struggling to survive in this city that you are now. Sometimes you'll be begging people to even give you money to buy gari. My question to you now is, don't you have where you are coming from? It's only because you have not sit down to think that you have where you are coming from. The same thing that happens to prodigal son. The prodigal son that was very rich, a son of a rich millionaire, was eating food with pigs. Not until one day he sat down and started thinking. Until you start thinking and processing informations and processing your own life, you'll be wandering all around wilderness without knowing your left from your right, without even knowing where your problem is coming from. Guy, you are even begging money in the city. Okay, fine and good. You're not making it in the city that you went to. What is stopping you from going back to where you're coming from? Did they say that when you go back to your community, they are going to kill you? Did you steal from your community? It's because you are ashamed. You are ashamed that people will laugh at you. I left the city, I left the village, I went to the city. And now in the city, there is nothing to show for it. If I go back, people will be laughing at me. People will call me failure. So you prefer people to call you failure than people in the city to call you beggar. And hunger is still wiring you on top of. My people, you prefer, hold on, follow me. You prefer people calling you failure for you to tell them, you that is calling me failure, what do you have to show? You too, you are a failure. A pot calling a kettle black. A pot is already black. You are calling a kettle that is black to black. All of us are failures. I'm coming from the city so that I will farm in my community and even have peace. Let me live in this mud house. It's still house. Let me live with my grandma in this mud house. There is no AC, but it is always chill. There is no AC, but it is always chill. So let me drink from this pot. There is no fridge, but this is my grandma's pot. The water is always cool. I will only go to the farm 2 times in a week. And in 3 months, I will grow vegetables that I will cut it and sell and have money. This money that I'm not even having in the city. If you grow pumpkin vegetable alone, in 3 months, pumpkin vegetable will give you enough money. You will not even be begging people to come and buy. People will come from that your city that you wear. They will travel all the way to the village and be begging you to buy your pumpkin vegetables. You now have the money that in the city and you did not have it. Let people, after 3 months, even if people will want to call you failure, you failed while staying in the city, tell them, okay, no problem, call me. Let me bear this as a consequences for me wasting all my life in the city. But give me only 3 months. After 3 months, you will not call me failure again. After 3 months, my farm will yield fruit for me to sell and have enough to eat. Let me come back and plant cassava. Let me come back and plant yam. Even if I don't plant it for commercial use, let me plant it for me to have food and control my own food of my own food. Let me plant it and control my own chain of food product. Let me produce, at least in my life, let me produce something. Okay, even if I'm not farming for anything, let me produce something. How can you live a life you're not producing anything? And then you are blaming the government is not providing jobs. Government is not producing anything. Okay, coming down to your own individual, you leave government for once first. What have you produced? Point out and tell me, what have you produced? Okay, government is not producing. Okay, the same way we are blaming government, we're supposed to be blaming ourselves the same magnitude, the same energy that we are using to blame government for not providing jobs, for not producing anything for us. We keep exporting or we keep importing things. We are not producing anything. Use the same thing to blame yourself, because government is same you. Government is you. It's just that these are some set of you that is in one place eating the whole resources and calling themselves government. It's still you. It's not like another aliens. Stop removing space because you are not thinking. So you think government is one energy from another planet that is controlling this planet, or aliens. Government is still you that is making regulations that is stopping you from enjoying, and they are the ones enjoying. But let's leave government. Let's talk about ourselves first. About what can I show that I produce as a god, as a human being? What have I produced? What have I created? You are there in the city roaming around, begging people for money, looking at people's faces. The next thing you will do in that city is to join cults. Or when you are pressured your girlfriend, you know you don't have money to give your girlfriend, and one guy will come and take your girlfriend away from you. With that anger and that vexation, you go and join cults and turn your life into nonsense, instead of you to simply going back to your roots, going back to where you are coming from and farm. Why are we so scared of farming? Why do we feel so traumatized with farming? I will explain. I will do the thinking for you. Let's dwell into the cause of the issue. Why? How did we get here? You know, you cannot solve a problem if you don't know where the origin and how it. There is what we call angle of deviation. In physics, immediately you solve angle of deviation in anything, you automatically solve half of that thing's problem. So if you listen mostly on my teachings, I tackle angle of deviation. At what point did we talk? Because before now, there was a time we had abundance of food. Before now, there was a time our mothers and our fathers did not know what is dollar in the market. They did not know what is exchange rate. If you tell my grandpa or my father at that time what is exchange rate, they don't even know what you are talking about. Yeah. At what point did we deviate? Let's ask ourselves that question. What is the angle of deviation? There was a time humanity was peaceful. There was a time when men commit any action, they hold to the consequences that will come to that. They will stand up and face the consequences of their actions. What is the point of deviation? There was a time we had men who were honest and sincere. There was a time we had men that if you do business with them, you don't have anything to worry about. Today, if you do business with someone and give the person as little as $1,000, you are even scared if he will run away with your money. What is the angle of deviation? Let me not deviate. I don't want to deviate. Let's go back to what we are talking about. This thing is very provocative. Okay, now, so in agriculture, let's not deviate. What is the angle of deviation? Is when white men came and introduced another culture to us and turned our eyes from our own culture that had agriculture as our number one source of sustenance, and introduced white collar job to us, and introduce office jobs to us, and introduce university to us. By so doing, they dragged our youth from the village to the city, because most of their institutions was already in the city. They did not have those institutions in the village. They had them in the city. So they did some kind of incentives that mandated or that magneted our youth from the village to come to leave this village to come to the city, and they dark its civilization. There we are now civilized. There we no longer work hard. There we now work smart. That is the same place that boys now left their heritage of sustenance and survival to the city, because they want to feel among. Who doesn't want to be in the city? Who doesn't want to drive a car? Who doesn't want to have an office job that you'll be rolling on the seat? Who doesn't want it? Had it been the stop it day, it would have been perfect and fine. So people that will stay in the city, and we will still have a good number of people that will stay in the village. But look at what they did. They idealized the system. They idealized us, the remaining of our youth, by making them feel that for them to stay in the village and farm, they are actually suffering. So psychologically, they twisted our psychological instinct of seeing that farming is not actually suffering. They made us feel and think that farming is suffering. Don't worry, I'll be contextual. Let me confirm that my mic is not off. Okay, it's not off. Follow me and follow me with logic. This is common to Nigerians. If you remember that time you were in secondary school, you notice that if you commit any crime, it's either they will flog you or they will subject you to farming. They will tell you, oh, you will cut grass, you will mow ridges, you will do this, you will need to do this in the farm. By so doing, psychologically, they twisted our mind as a child to start seeing farming as punishment. So whenever you do something that is bad, they will punish you by sending you to the farm. They will tell you, you have to do 10 ridges, you have to do 50 hips, you have to cut grass as a punishment for coming to school late. So psychologically, we grew up with that mindset, and it did not even stop there. If you travel your mind as a Nigerian back home, you notice that when you come back from school and you notice that maybe your father or your mother is going to farm, you come back and then you'll be looking at them. You'll be like, what did my parents do that they are suffering like this? Psychological ideology to shift men from their instinct of survival to something that will sustain their existence, to always be depending on something. That is why today, all our youth, everybody in the city, they are depending on either government to give them job. They are always depending, not realizing. It's more like, let me be contextual a little bit. This thing is I need to break it down that even if it's either you understand it or you understand, you don't even have a choice. Look it at a man has a pond, a fish pond. You know what is fish pond? And then fill in the fish pond with water, bring in fishes there, give them food. From time to time, the man will be changing the water for the fish. So the fish is inside that water. Let's say 100 fishes inside that pond. They start communicating with each other. What is happening today? This man has not come today to change water. We are feeling somehow uncomfortable. And you are looking at, where is this man to come and change water? We are feeling so uncomfortable. Boom! The man showed up. This man is here. They will all be excited that their savior is there. And the man will on this thing, drain the water out, give them fresh water, give them food. Or if the man changes water and then the man goes to pick food, all the fishes will start swimming again, praying. They will be praying, dear man, come and give us food. We are hungry. We are going to die. Our children are going to die. Give us food. It's the same thing Nigerians government are telling West. Give us money to give us loan. We need to pay salary. We need to pay this. Our country is going to suffer if we do not give us this loan. Follow me. Just follow me. This thing is very provocative. When you understand it carefully, it's very annoying. Anyway, let's end it here. I feel like cutting it. Let's just round up. So you will start wondering, why are my parents suffering like this? If they tell you in the morning, Junior, stand up, let's go to the farm. Today is Saturday. The kind of anger that will be boiling in your heart. You now feel like farming is a very difficult, very hard job. But this is the same you that will work in the city. In that your city, you will work for your boss in the city. You will be going to work by 7 in the morning. You come back 10 o'clock at night. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Or sometimes some of them that have mercy of God will tell you not to come to work on Sunday. So that Sunday will only be your off day. Knowing fully well that off day, you go to use it and go to church. So it's not actually off day. Monday again, you start again. But if you are farming, my dear brother and my dear sister, if you are farming, you can only go to your farm highest 2 days in a week. 2 days alone in a week, and your farm will be perfectly fine. What will you be doing? You go there to supervise, because you are not the one. You are not going to even be doing hard jobs. You just go there to supervise what is happening there. If this wheat is growing close to your crop, you take it off. More like your farm is calling on you, crying on you. Our God, please come and take away this thing that is scratching us. These grasses are scratching us. Take it away so that we can grow well. Pour us water because it is too hot. It's too hot for us. Give us water. That water will save us rain for us. You are our God. See farming as your garden. Connect to your farm. Be happy when you are seeing your crops grow. You need to understand the kind of joy and the kind of peace of mind you have when you are in your farm and you are seeing your plants flourishing. You don't know the kind of joy, and you know that you actually created this thing. You actually created it. Just like the same way a white man is creating car and he's happy. I created this BMW. I created this Lamborghini. Create a farm and be excited. Beat your chest and say, I cannot create power bank. I cannot create car. I cannot create machine. I cannot create anything, but I can create this cassava. I can design it. At the end of the day, this cassava will reward me by giving me food. It's high time we start seeing agriculture as the necessity for our existence and stop crying and blaming government while government is doing their own. What can you do with your own? Yes, sir. Stop seeing farming as hard job and office work as smart job. Stop it. All right. I'm not angry. Sometimes I need to use force to push us out. Sometimes I will not really be very nice with us, but I promise I'm not going to be disrespectful. I was well trained. But sometimes I will be angry. And sometimes you guys bear with me. Sometimes you notice that the video I'll pause, and because the thing is very angry. I feel when I'm talking like this, the thing is boiling in my spirit. Why are we not seeing this thing? Why are we not seeing it? Why are we complaining that there is food? Why are we complaining that there is no food when we are not farming? Where do you think the food is going to come from? It's going to fall from the sky? The northerners that you are depending on to give you food, they can have the... What if one day the northerners just wake up one day and said, we are not sending food down to Africa, to southern Nigeria again? What will be your fate? Let all of us go back to farming. Let the people that have jobs already in the city, I'm not saying everybody in the city should leave the city and go to farming before people will start dragging me. If you have a job already in the city, stay in your city. But if you do not have a job and you are in the city, please, this is a charge to men, especially men. Women can stay in the city and cry all what they want to cry. But let men go back to village and farm. I'm emphasizing on this, and I will be emphasizing more on this because we are fast approaching planting season. Raining season is coming, planting season is coming. I need to charge men to go back to farming. I need to charge men. I need to return men back to their culture. That man that is always changing that water for those fishes are depending on that man for their survival. That is because their culture was tampered with. Their culture was changed. Because in their culture, they don't need to wait for a man to change water. The ocean automatically changes water for them. In their culture, they don't need to wait for a man to come and give them food. They automatically have what to eat. But outside culture, we struggle for survival. Outside culture, we struggle for survival. This is a charge to men. Let's go back to agriculture. Let's go back to farming. I know you will say you're a medical doctor. I agree. But show me your farmland. You will not be eating drugs. I know you will tell me that you are a chemist. I know you will tell me that you are a businessman. You sell spare parts. But show me where you are growing crops. What if something happened that they take away that your business from you? What if you lose that job? What will be your back? Where will you start from? What will be your landing ground? Where will you raise your head on? Let's go back to our culture. In our culture, we don't bake. In our culture, everything aligns. I don't know how to say this, but I believe I've been able to explain this thing explicitly for us to understand. Embrace your revolutionary thinker. I will always do the thinking. You don't need to worry. But you're going to learn, just like very young man will always say, you don't teach buffaloes how to be moving in packs. Immediately, they know, they already. But if a monkey is on the ground, I can tell a monkey, you are struggling on the ground. It is very easy for lion to come and eat you here on the ground. Can you please return back to your branches of trees so that your culture, so that you'll be able to survive and thrive there? That in your culture, you are king in your culture. Let's go back to our culture. Let's go back to our culture.